You have to ask every first question this year. Great job, Mark.
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I'll do what I can.
Good job.
We'll see. In an ideal world, what is the identity on opening night here of your team?
Again, we're not going to stray away from the things that we've tried to create from the beginning of training camp. There was a lot of time and effort put in over the course of the summer months to try to establish a template in which we would expect our players to play to, and now it's time to apply that. The last words I said to the players, it's up to you now. They've agreed with a lot of the things that we've tried to implement over the course of the training camp, and now it's time for us to demonstrate the will and the skill and the work ethic that's going to be required to have success in the NHL.
With the Cozens, Percys, and all the guys you brought in the summer, is there new blood in this room that doesn't carry what happened last year moving forward?
Yeah, I think that is part of it. I think, again, we're not going to ever be able to forget what happened. You know, that's all part of it. That's part of the maturing process of recognizing in the areas in which that you need to improve on. And we have reminded our group that what we've accomplished here has been short of our goals. And when you set goals, you set them for a reason. You don't set them to fail. And we've set a new set of goals with our group, and we've tried to band this group together to a tight-knit group as quickly as possible. And our expectations are for our team to go out and work and skate and do the things that they're capable of doing on a day-to-day, shift-to-shift, second-to-second basis. And they're going to be held accountable to it.
You've remodeled your third and fourth line and new additions in the back, but what can you expect more from your top two lines this year?
Well, I don't think that you can put anything specific that they got to do this or they've got to score 25 goals or they've got to score 70 points. They've got to make a contribution that helps this hockey club have success. And that's what really we're asking of our whole group. We're asking our 23 players that are available to us that they come and give us night in, night out their best. And there'll be decisions that'll be made on their performance, and that if they're not performing, we feel we have other people we can slide into those positions.
What would make you consider this season a success?
There's lots of things that would determine a success. Obviously, we'd like to be able to qualify for the playoffs. Is that going to deem it a success? That'll be up to you guys to determine that, because we're not going to look at that and say that's the only thing that determines success. I think you have to grow your organization to a point where you feel that your players are committed to playing a certain style and that we can go into any building and feel that we can have success, and the maturing of your young players are prepared to take the next step to be more than everyday NHL players.
Based on what you saw of Montreal last year, obviously they went to the Eastern Conference Final. Did you see much of a gap between the teams in terms of where they're at?
I just see Montreal as a very fast, hard-skating, hard-working, determined group. And they were able to do what they did last year, not because of one individual, not because of just Carey Price, not just because of PK Subban. They had a team effort, they played like a team, and they worked like a team. And you have to take your hat off to what they accomplished.
Randy, if you look at the start you guys got off to last year, sometimes you played not so well in one, and sometimes, will it be easier to get your team to respect the process of versus just the outcomes based on?
You don't know until you live it. You know, again, if you look at our group, how many new faces do we have in our hockey club today than we had last year? So you cannot look back and say, well, this group is going to react this way. We're going to have to live it. And living it is the difficult part. There's going to be peaks and valleys that go and take place through the season. And we want to make sure that we're prepared for both. the entitlement issue in this market can be something that you have to deal with over the top. And we want to make sure that, that our players understand of what's required on a day-to-day basis. And that's been our message from day one. It hasn't changed, and it's not going to change.
Randy, Stefan Revita, a newcomer to this group, what went into naming him the other alternate captain?
We just felt that being around the individual, his experience, and in the conversations that we had, actually it started when we had talked to him. We actually brought him into Toronto for a visit and laid out what our vision was, both as management and as a coaching staff, what his role would be. So in his role, we felt that he would be a guy that could provide leadership not only to our younger players, but some of our older players. He could share minutes, and he could make a contribution just not on the ice. And that's what he's done all his career. So we don't look at it that we're asking him to do something he's not comfortable doing.
Randy, is there anything from your penalty kill 2 years ago that you might like applied with the new group that you've got this time around to not duplicate last season's results?
It'd be nice to finish second overall in penalty killing. I guess that'd be a start that we'd like to duplicate. I think, again, those are the things you leave the ring scratching your head when basically it's the same system, much the same players, and that you have the result that was such a negative for our group. And the one thing that we have to do is we have to outwork the opposition's power play. And that is one thing that we've been harping on, and we've been asking our players. The system has changed a little bit to a point where we're much more aggressive, specifically down ice, but we have in our minds personnel that can accomplish that. And if it's the Leo Kormroff, it's the Daniel Winnix, it's the Brandon Cozen, it's the James Van Riemsdyk, we have people that can put pressure down the ice. Obviously, teams are going to have schemes and breakouts that are going to try and prevent us from doing those things. But that's the part of the cat and mouse game that takes place within the game and the pre-scout and the game plan that you put in place for your team.